And you know, Fresh always said this, you know, enjoy us while you can.
Yeah. They thought we was capping, man.
Yeah.
They thought it was a joke.
And you know, we made moves on the side knowing that this could potentially happen. And guys, we the channel has been kicked off the YouTube partner program. Just keep it straight with
If you look right now, you can't even super chat or
you can't even super chat right now. Yep.
So this is the beginning of the end of this era.
If around and find out was a person, this would be it. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. My name is Rogan. This is This Bahamian Gal. Let's jump right in. So the good old boys at Fresh&Fit made a major announcement during their live stream Friday night. Myron announced that this could be the end of Fresh&Fit as we know it because YouTube has kicked them out of their partnership program. Now, Myron didn't say why they were being kicked out of the program, but if you've been watching their channel, I think you can deduce just why they were thrown out.
Pause right. This nigga right here is funny. He's funny, this nigga.
I don't condone this N-word.
Shut up, you Albanian fat. Keep running the clip, you chink. No, keep running the clip. Who's that weird that can't speak? Preach is crying right now, swinging from a monkey branch.
Bro.
Eating a banana, playing some Donkey Kong on an N64 because he's a stupid prick. He's a window-licking stupid nigga.
Y'all know how I felt about Myron and the boys after that last video what they had where they were just going in on Abba and Preach those. So y'all already, if you've been watching my channel, you already know my sentiments. And if you don't know my channel, if you've not seen that video, please click on the link above or just search at my channel because I was really disgusted by their behavior. So let's take a little listen, huh?
All right, and we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Fresh and Fit podcast, man. As you guys know, we had a show scheduled earlier with Psych Hacks, but we had to cancel because we got some really, sucky news.
Crazy news.
Yeah, crazy news, real talk. And guys, I mean,
is this the end, bro? Because we got some bad news, man. I mean, when I heard that, I was shocked because, I mean, we love YouTube, man.
Yeah.
We love streaming.
Yeah.
And at this point, I feel like our whole lives are revolved around streaming and, like, adding value to people online. It's just like, it won't be the same, bro.
Let me say this. I didn't want Fresh and Fit to be demonetized. I didn't even see it coming because I felt like YouTube lets people get away with stuff all the time. They cherry pick who gets demonetized and, what happens. So I was surprised because this is a couple months since the whole racist rant that they went on against Abba and Preach. So I didn't think anything would happen. I didn't want their channel to get demonetized, but I'm not the only person who's watching them or who was offended by them. So I have, zero input in that, I suppose. But I think the only way that they would have been more muted, like you see them in this video, the only way that they would have felt like, ooh, let me step back, is being demonetized. People don't react until there are consequences. And this definitely was a consequence. And I just don't understand how when people's livelihoods are surrounded by this thing, they don't take it seriously. YouTube is a very good platform. People clown it all the time. But let me be real with you. We on here for free. I don't have to pay YouTube. I hope it never comes to that. I mean, knock on wood. I hope it never comes to that part, to that point where we have to pay. But, they allow us to be on the platform for free. And they give us opportunities to make money. They're making a hell of a lot of money, too, off of our content. It's a partnership. So, and even though YouTube is not my boss, per se, and this is a hobby right now, this channel I have is a hobby, I treat it like it's a full-time job. I treat it like I have to show up on time. I need to be accountable and responsible. I don't need to be saying things that are just inflammatory and egregious or they could get me in trouble, because I'm running this by myself. So I need to operate with some degree of integrity and not just be spouting off at the mouth. I have people come across my channel all the time who say, oh, you're so safe. You should have said this. You should have said that, especially when it comes to like my LGBTQIA videos. And I'm like, no, let me take that back. I wouldn't say I speak my truth. I speak the truth. I speak the truth and I speak my mind on topics. But because I'm respectful or because it doesn't sound the way you want it to sound, that's a problem. People love to gas content creators up. Oh, you should say this, you should do that and all that stuff because they get to sit back in the comfort of their homes behind their computer screens as they gas you up to do things. And if you're foolish enough to fall for it, you will. But who suffers the consequences? You, not them. And this is why I always say content creators need to be especially careful, and don't let this, subscribing get to their heads or the money get to you. Don't think about it like that, because today you could say something that everybody is applauding, and tomorrow, literally tomorrow, they could pull it away from you, say they ain't subscribing or they're unsubscribing or they're whatever. That's the way it goes in this business, unfortunately. So you have to be very careful. And I don't think they were careful. I think they were reckless. And this is the result of that recklessness. But I do want to respond or just give my take on this portion where he talks about, having to choose between his job and content creation.
He was a tech support. I was arresting bad guys, etc. We started this podcast. We did our first episode on October 26th, 2020. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then I'll never forget, I get an email November 14th. Internal Affairs. Hey, we need you to come in for an interview. I go, I let my supervisor know, hey, I gotta go up to, the Internal Affairs office, right? Because it's not at the same building as us. And, I go over there and they take my phone. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, what's going on here? And then, and then they're like, they didn't want to tell me, but they're like, hey, we're part of an internal investigation. Next day I meet up with the special agent in charge, and they tell me, hey, it has to do with your YouTube. And what ended up happening is I had to make a really tough decision that month. I remember going back and forth, trying to negotiate, trying to figure out what we're going to do. And, they're like, no, you have to pick one. You have to either, you're going to be a YouTuber or you can be a special agent of Homeland, but you're not going to do both. So I was like, all right, I'm going to resign.
That happens quite often with a lot of content creators. They have to make a choice. Particularly if they're extremely popular on this platform. I don't think anybody really cares if you have 50 subscribers or 100 subscribers, unless you're doing something that's really, really crazy. They don't really care. But the minute your channel starts to blow up, especially if you're doing something that is not in line or a good look for a company, they are going to ask you to make a choice. And I think that's what a lot of content creators who are doing jobs and content creating fail to realize or take into account, because you cannot be on YouTube acting a complete and entire fool and expect to still be employed somewhere. You cannot, because you do become a bit of a representation of the company that you work for. You don't have to sign up for that, but you automatically become that. So you do have to make a choice. So I do applaud him for stepping away from the job and saying that he was going to go full time into Fresh&Fit because, other people were starting to rely on him. I want to also say this, though. When you are a content creator and you have staff, and he mentions that in this video, this emergency meeting video, they have 20 or so people working for them. When you have people whose livelihoods are in the palm of your hands, you have to be especially careful. You cannot just go out and say things that are egregious or do things that are very scandalous and expect no consequences. What really bothered me about his explanation here is the fact that he just didn't seem to take accountability for anything. It was just we did some things, we always said enjoy it while you can. And, why did it have to be enjoyed while you can? Why couldn't it be where you have decent conversations with your audience that weren't demeaning and degrading to women or demeaning or degrading to other people? Why did it have to come to that? Even on this channel, I don't have one person working for me, not one. Everything is done by me, from editing to thumbnail creation to everything. Everything is done by me. But I know as my channel grows, I'm probably going to have to bring somebody or some people on board to help. And that is a responsibility I would take very, very seriously. When you have someone's livelihood in your hand, you take it very seriously. And I just didn't understand why these guys would just go on the way that they did, considering that there were people who were working for them. And if I were some of the people who were working for them, I would have been like, you know what? Let me look for another gig, because this is not going to last long, because these guys just don't know how to keep it. They don't know how to fly right. You can do that controversial crap if it's just on you. And, I heard him say that, I heard Myron say that, they have their hands in other things. But let me be real. With 1.48, that's almost 1.5 million subscribers, and their videos get pretty good views, and they get donations or super thanks from their supporters. They make a good chunk of money, I would imagine, off of this platform. If you could hire 20 people, you have to be making that kind of money. So that's why they should have been especially careful. And it's very sad that it's come to this. I'm not here to even gloat about any of this stuff that's gone on. I don't think the channel should have been demonetized, but I'm only one person. And I also realize that there are people who are really, really angry about what they did, and they have a right to have a say too in what happens. And I feel like just watching them, they're more muted and like, oh shoot, we really messed up this time. Because I'm sure they've messed up before, but not to this point where they've been demonetized, blocked from making money. They fumble their own bag. They fumble their own bag. And this is the most muted I've seen them. It's almost like when a dog poops on your carpet and you've told them, hey, stop pooping on my carpet. You know, you put their nose in it a little bit. But the next time you roll up the newspaper and you spank them, it's like, oh, head down and tail between the legs. And this is what this moment is. And again, this is not to make fun of them. I will never make fun of them for this. I don't want anybody to miss out on money, especially even if I don't really care for these guys. I don't know their staff and I feel sorry for them. You know what I mean? And let me tell you something, but making fun of people when they're in distress. Today it's you, tomorrow it's me. So you got to be very careful about that sort of stuff. Now they're asking their fans to go to Rumble and support them, where they have to pay. You know, people could just tune in here on YouTube and get it for free. Now they're asking for support over there. And this, I suppose, is when you're really going to see how much support they have. You know, times are tough for a lot of people. And so not a lot of people are going to be like so supportive to the point where they are paying. Hopefully they do have some folks who really do care about them and their staff and their content, and they'll pay. But you know, that remains to be seen. I think this channel is going to eventually die, because if you're not making money from it and you can make money elsewhere, you know, why put all that effort into it? You know, but let's listen further.
But we don't, in any form or fashion, hate YouTube or want to go at them. We're just saying, you know what, we wish we knew the reason why, but we respect, you know, for them to use the platform and keeping us here for a while, and like, yeah, you know, we appreciate it.
Yeah. But, and the thing is that you guys know, right, on this pod, we push the edge, right? We push the envelope where we're not going to lie about that. Like, we give you guys the real deal when it comes to getting in shape, when it comes to
money, girls,
dating. Improving yourself, etc. And unfortunately, to be able to give people real advice that they can take in real life and apply to the real world, you have to have uncomfortable conversations about uncomfortable topics in uncomfortable times. Guys, it's about to be an election year.
Again, there's a way to have uncomfortable conversations about uncomfortable topics, sometimes even with uncomfortable guests. There's ways to do that with civility, with decency and order. And if you've watched their channel, they don't always do that. I don't know. And maybe it's because I'm a woman and I just don't understand the fraternity of the brohood or whatever, because it sometimes feels like watching on the rare occasions that I do stumble across, and it's usually because they've said something that's triggered some other YouTuber to say something. But on those rare occasions, it's like, what am I watching here? It just feels like I just stepped into a frat house with a bunch of drunken guys and some girls sitting in the corner looking uncomfortable, just waiting just sitting at the ready for their instructions. I don't know. And to hear them say like, oh, I wish YouTube would tell us why. I'll tell you why. Because if you've been watching, there were thousands of people who were reporting their content to YouTube to say it was inflammatory, it was racist, it was sexist, it was homophobic, so YouTube got all of those reports. People report videos all the time. So the fact that they could be sitting there like so lost, like, oh, I don't know, I wish they would just tell us why. Like, why did they do this? Like they were running like the Billy Graham channel, and all of a sudden YouTube was like, no, we demonetizing you. What the hell? By the way, I saw Ab and Preach, who were they're on tour right now. And they, of course, they jumped to respond to this. I'm not going to include their response in here, just because I felt like it was a little too gleeful for me. And I understand the two groups have been battling, each other back and forth. Maybe I should, I don't know. Maybe I will. I don't know. I don't know if I'll include it. But I just, again, like I said, I have my personal feelings towards these fellas based off of what they did, I don't know them from a can of paint, but based off of what they did, I didn't like the response from them. And as a result, I don't really fool with them, but I don't like laughing at people when they're down. I don't like, ha ha ha, take that. Again, today it's you, tomorrow it's me. Anyway, guys, I did this video. My videos usually come out Wednesday, 1 o'clock. But I just had to jump on this because it was just so fresh. But let me know what you think about YouTube's decision to kick them out of the partnership program to demonetize their platform. Do you think it was the right decision? Do you think they should have left them there and just given them some sort of warning? Maybe they had warnings before. Who knows? That's another point. They're sitting here looking like, no, I don't know why they did it. So you never know. Maybe they had warnings. And will you be going over to Rumble to support these guys in their new ventures? You gotta let me know down below.